Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to an episode of Greatlocs. I'm Gunther the Great, and today we are continuing the series of top 10 best dreadlocks. In the first episode, we covered Scrim, Black, Lil Wayne, and a bonus person. If you wanted to see the bonus person on that episode, make sure to go check out episode 1. Link to it is down below. And I also did mention in the last episode, if you need any dreadlock tools, make sure to go to greatlocs.com and get yourself the locking bundle. We do have a sale going on right now, and I did mention on the last video that we did increase our shipping speed so you can get your packages within 2 days. And that's really fast considering the pandemic that's going on right now. And obviously shipping rates and different things apply for people that are international and overseas. All right, you guys, moving on to our number 7 position, and that is Icy Narco. He has some of the dopest dreadlocks, or he did. I'm not sure if he still has them. But you guys, let's check out Icy Narco. All right, here we go. He has 171,000 followers, and let's take a look at his feed. All right, so right here, right off the bat, he does have like a wavy sort of hair texture just looking at his roots, and his roots aren't very maintained, so that's a really cool look as well. And looking at his dreads, you can see that the links of them are actually blue and that his roots are blonde. So I'm not exactly sure if his natural hair color is blonde just looking at this photo, but we can scroll down and see what his natural hair color is. Interesting photo right here. You can see that his hair is completely blue. So I am assuming that he just bleached his hair and then dyed it blue, and then the bleach was kind of still at the roots, I'm assuming. But he does have a high top set of dreads, so that's really cool. And right here, it does actually look like his hair is braided back. Here's a picture with him with ski mask. Oh no, this is a really cool thing, seeing that he has a pineapple. This is a really cool hairstyle, and I think his hair is a perfect length for this hairstyle. So now looking at this photo, I can see that his hair is more on the straight end. Just looking at the loose hair on the tips of his dreadlocks, you can see that they are straight, and that is a sign to show that his dreadlocks are more straight. But not gonna lie, his dreadlocks are actually really dope. The fade on the side looks super clean, and it does show that he does have thick hair, but it's not coarse like African American hair. Just picture with him in trippy red, and yes, perfect picture right here. You can see that his hair is frizzy, which shows signs of his hair being straight. And the thing about straight hair dreadlockers, their hair has more of a puff to it versus the tightness of a coarse hair dreadlocker. Now here's an interesting picture. His hair is actually all the way bleached in this photo with his hair braided back. Looks pretty clean. And just since his hair is straight, we're gonna assume that he started out his dreads with some crochet hooking for sure, maybe even rip and twist. And another method that he could have chose was back combing. Those are 3 methods that you can do with straight hair to get dreadlocks. Here's a picture of him in Kodak Black, and you can actually see that he has 2-strand twists right here. And I'm just trying to scroll down and find a photo of when he started his dreads, if there's even a picture on here. Here's an interesting photo of him bleaching his hair, I'm assuming right here. But his hair is actually like platinum blonde in this photo. But yeah, that's basically it. Breakdown of his dreadlocks. He has a 1 type hair, maybe like a 1... I would probably say a 2A or a 2B. And I would say that he got his dreadlocks with crochet hooking, back combing, or twist and rip. Twist and rip is the easiest one out of all those, I believe. And then he most likely maintains them now by crochet hooking them, which pulls in all the loose hairs, which is perfect for straight hair. And another thing that he does is that he bleaches them and dyes them, just like a lot of other people with dreadlocks. Now, in my opinion, he has some of the cleanest dreadlocks, and his hair was more on the straight end. So if you have straight hair dreadlocks, I would definitely recommend getting a crochet needle. It helps out a whole bunch. I'm pretty sure I explained it on that video. All right, moving on to number 6. Very interesting hairstyle versus just the dreadlocks. He wears his hair in a very interesting way. What do you guys think it is? If you guys guess Bill Saber, check it out. So this is the hairstyle I was talking about. Bill Saber likes to wear his hair as if they're horns, and I know that's like borderline demonic, but overall this is like an interesting hairstyle, and it looks like they're actually like goat horns. And I don't know what his reason is behind that. I think he makes music. I've never listened to his music, and I always emphasize that I don't listen to these people's music. I never really tell you why. I really don't listen to that much music. But as you see right here, he got the 2 braids, but they're going backwards. And his hairstyle also looks cool if you wear it the right way, which they would be going backwards instead of forwards. And it's almost like a basket weave hairstyle. I don't believe it's braids. It's more of like a basket weave. And his dreadlocks are super long, especially to pull off this hairstyle. So moving on to this next photo, you can get a close-up look in focus of his dreadlocks, and they're very maintained, very cylindrical, very put together well. And you can kind of see his roots in the back just being pulled. That's not too good for your scalp, but a lot of people who are usually African or have thick, like super thick hair up in the 4 C's, when they pull their hair like this, it's less of a risk on their scalp rather than people who have thinner dreadlocks or thinner haired dreadlocks, like in the 3s or the 2s or the 1s. So going from straight hair to curly hair, around that area. But when he wears his hoodie up, or if he wears a hat, it looks really cool with this hairstyle. Here's another side view of his hair. You can see that his hair is twisted from the roots, so that tells me and everybody looking that he does twist his hair. And you can tell that he has bleached his hair. That's why his hair is that color on the tips. His hair is mostly bleached than it being unbleached, which the roots are black, and his natural hair color is black and it's bleached, and the tips are bleached. That's why it looks like that. But we can say that he started out with just the normal twisting with gel, or he could have did comb coils or comb twists, whatever you want to call them, and he got his dreadlocks that way and just let them mature as they went up. But by the length of his dreadlocks, he's probably been growing his hair for about 4 to 5, maybe even 6 years, because in this next picture it shows you how long his dreadlocks are. And this is actually even an older picture because his hair is actually longer now. I've seen some pictures of his hair being longer, but this is his hair actually being down, and overall it just looks really cool, really long, and the bleached hairstyle on him looks good. I know a lot of people like Young Thug or Lil Uzi Vert or XXXTentacion who have dyed their dreadlocks, and on Bill Saber they look really cool. I think it would be cool to see someone who has dreadlocks who has like a gradient of blonde, so it starts out at the tips blonde and then it goes all the way to black. I think that would be cool because I've never really seen people with that, but maybe in the future we'll see that more popping off. All right, I've yet to figure out how Bill Saber got his dreadlocks, how he had it right there. In my opinion, I think that's the coolest hairstyle that I've seen with dreadlocks. Of course, it's very different, and I mean, it's his dreadlocks, so he can wear it however he wants. What do you guys think about Bill Saber and how he wears his dreadlocks? Comment down below. Now moving on to the number 5 position of best dreadlocks, which there was speculation of whether or not his dreadlocks were fake or real, and he actually doesn't have them anymore unless he got them back, but he did end up cutting the dreadlocks that I reviewed in this video. So let's take a look at Ski Mask the Slump God's dreadlocks. We're gonna do this in order a little bit. So this is the first picture that I found of his hair being dreaded after not having dreads, of course. And looking in this picture, it does look like he could have took many routes. It could be 2 strands that I found because his roots are very put together and the ends of his dreads are very loose. So it leads me to think that he went either with interlocking, or he could even have really, really small plaits, which plaits are just braids. But it does look like he could be using interlocking for this. It doesn't look like his hair is twisted because it wouldn't be that tight at the root and loose at the ends. If he were to be twisting with locking gel or anything like that, you would be able to notice by the tips of his hair that the tips would actually be well put together, so he's not twisting right here. My assumption is that he sectioned out his hair and then he started interlocking. That is my best guess that he did interlock. But his hair is about 2 inches right here, probably 3 or 4 inches outside of the dreadlocks. If he weren't to have dreads, they would be that long. And it does look like he has a high top fade with his dreadlocks. And that is a very popular style these days. Moving on to the next photo, we have him at an interview at Hot New Hip Hop, and I've seen him wear this style frequently to where he just has one pigtail in the back and he has those dreads put together with the rest just hanging down. And now I could see some dreads popping out of the back behind his ears, so it leads me to think that he might have a dread hawk, which is a mohawk with dreads. In this photo you can't really tell, but in some of the later pictures you're going to see that he does twist his dreadlocks, and that's why his tips are very blunted, and that is the steps he went afterwards after starting his dreads, which a lot of people do this. They'll start the dreadlocks, get the initial locking, and then they'll start twisting because it keeps a clean, maintained look, and a lot of people do that. So in this picture he has all of them hanging out of the front, and he has that pigtail in the back like I said, and then I think there might be another pigtail behind his head, but you could just see the dreads coming out, popping out behind his ear. But overall I could see why you guys wanted me to do a review on his hair, because his hair actually is pretty cool. But there's not really much to see in this picture, but there is a lot to see in the next picture because you can see the better lighting right here, and you can definitely tell that his hair is sectioned and twisted because you can see the coils of his hair. Now a simple giveaway on if someone twisted their hair or if they didn't is you'll see coils, which you can see that his hair is almost coiled right here, but it is definitely locked up. And his hair at this stage just looks very maintained and very took care of, because you see no frizziness whatsoever. You do see that he does have that pigtail in the back of his head again right here, but I think that's just the style he likes to wear, and a lot of rappers or a lot of famous people with dreadlocks have their hair styled and fashioned to a certain way according to how they want it, but everyone usually just has it different. But I think this is the most recent picture of him that I do have, and you could just tell everything, that his sections are made very well, that it's maintained, that he probably has a loctician doing this. He just has an overall great set of locks. But enough of this picture, we're going to move on to the next photo, which is him with blonde hair, which got me thinking, when did this happen? Because he doesn't have that tattoo on the side of his face right here, but he does in the recent photo. So this has to be an older picture, so that leads me to think that he did have dreadlocks and then he just dyed them and then dyed them black again right after that. That is just a whole process. A lot of people do dye their dreadlocks, and right here his dreads don't look as healthy, but also there's not that much to see in this picture because he does have a hat on. We do know how he started his dreads, we know what method he uses now to maintain them, and we kind of have a rough estimate of when he started his dreads. It was probably with his his hair being 3 to 4 inches. And moving on to this next photo, he's in a weird pose, very weird position, but you can see pretty good view of his dreadlocks right here on top. It almost does look like some hair dye is peeking through on some of the dreads on the top, so that does lead me to think that he did dye some of his dreadlocks and then just dyed them back. And a lot of people do this. They'll dye their hair and then they'll dye it back to the original hair color, and then it'll start to fade and you can see that hair dye or the bleach peeking through under all of his hair dye. But overall, great set of locks, very cool hairstyle. Dreadlocks are just cool in general, and a lot of people do rock dreadlocks, and a lot of people frequently started rocking dreadlocks in the rap industry. A lot of people are coming up do have dreads, so this is a very big thing that is coming up, and I think it's going to stick around for a while because I don't believe these guys are falling off anytime soon, because a lot of people do listen to their music. Now in my opinion, whether they're fake or real, I think he had some of the best dreadlocks in the game. And you guys know how I handled last episode. There was a bonus person at the very end. So the bonus person in today's video is Javaya, and she has some of the dopest dreadlocks, especially for straight hair dreadlocks. And she does have dreadlock extensions in. If you guys did see, I don't know if it's in this video that I'm about to show you, but there was some clips and pictures of her that her dreadlocks were short, and then she added in the extensions, and her mother is actually a loctician, so you can see how all that plays in together. And I can guarantee you the way that she got her dreadlocks and the way her mom did them is by using a crochet needle or an interlocking tool, which that is in the locking bundle, which you guys can pick up at greatlocks.com. So click the link down below if you wanted to do that. But let's take a look at Javaya's straight hair dreadlocks. So we're just gonna scroll through her feed and see what we can look at. Right here, you can see that her dreadlocks are super long. And at first glance, they do look real. And I'm still not sure if they're fake or not. But looking at her roots, they're super frizzy. She doesn't maintain them all the way down to the root. I think that's cool, especially if you have straight dreadlocks. I would definitely recommend not maintaining them all the way down to the root and have more of that loose hair look, just like how she has it. It just makes it look better. And I feel like it's just more of a suitable look for straight hair dreadlocks. Now right here, you can see that her dreadlocks are going all the way down to her hip. Another thing to also note is that her mom actually does dreadlocks in a salon in California. I read that somewhere, I'm not exactly sure where I've seen that, but I did see that her mom actually does dreadlocks, so her mom did do her dreadlocks. Another thing to note is that her dreads are dyed as an ombre from like a teal all the way down to bleach, and her roots are very like a dark brown. So it's cool to see that transition, and I think it goes well. Another thing to note as well is that her dreadlocks are very fine at the tips, so it means that her dreadlocks aren't blunted off. And it's just a way of how you want to carry your dreadlocks. And I also think this is another way that straight hair dreadlocks look really good, is if they're just frayed at the ends and not very blunted off, because having them blunted off, it just doesn't really suit the straight hair dreadlocks. But that's just my opinion. If you do want to blunt off the tips with your dreadlocks, if they have straight hair, go for it. But me personally, I do like the loose hair at the roots and at the tips. It just looks better. I feel like it's more suitable. Now I'm actually going to keep scrolling and try to see if I can find a photo that shows that her dreadlocks are fake, because like I said, I did hear that they were fake. But looking at this photo, you can see that her roots are still messy, and like I said, it's a really cool look. And the links of her dreadlocks are looking like really good and well put together. You can see that they're very well put together. Here's a little top bun style that she did, and you can see that her dreadlocks are super long just by how big the bun is. Now looking at some of these photos, you can kind of tell where the dreadlocks can be connected to her actual hair, and I'm really just assuming where the bleach is meeting like her natural hair color, or her actual hair being bleach meeting the dreadlocks. It's that kind of gradient spot. You can see where there's some like kind of maintenance that had to been done right there, some sort of like interlocking or crochet hooking that mended both of the dreads together, because I have seen a picture of her actually having her own dreadlocks and then later on getting extensions put in. Here's a picture of her dreadlocks braided. That looks pretty cool. Alright, and I finally found the photo of before she had the extensions, and you can see right here that her hair is really short, and also in these pictures right here that her hair is really short compared to how long her dreadlocks are now. And in my opinion, I think the extensions look better than how they looked then, but overall it just depends on what you would like yourself. Maybe she didn't like her hair being that short, and she didn't want to go through the whole process of having to grow it out and be a long time, because her dreadlocks are about the length of growing them out for probably 5 to 6 years, and maybe even more. So I could see why she would get extensions. Alright, so what do you think about everyone's dreadlocks in today's video? Comment down below the best person that you've seen so far, and comment down below also who you expect to be in the #1 position. But we won't get to the #1 person with the best dreadlocks in the game until episode 4, so stay tuned for that. And also guys, don't forget, if you want to pick up any dreadlock tools, make sure to go to greatlocks.com, and also go follow Greatlocks on Instagram, because it's a whole family. We just reached 20,000 followers on there, which I don't even look at it as followers. It's more of just like a family community, so go join the community. Other than that, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.